fuck orphans.
This man with no name is played by Clint Eastwood.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the classic 1964 spaghetti western, A Fistful of Dollars. The film is directed by Sergio Leone and it stars Clint Eastwood, Jean-Marie Volonté, Mariana Koch and Wolfgang Lutschke. Right, okay, this is the first of the Dollar trilogy, starring Clint Eastwood as the man with no name, even though he is called Joe in this. And it focuses on a mysterious stranger that wanders into a town that is ruled by two rival gangs. You've got one on one side that does booze, and you got the ones on the other side that do weapons. They don't get on, but there's like an uneasy truce that kind of goes on between them that is, you know, very quickly going to erupt if anything goes wrong. Clint Eastwood's character, we'll call him Joe, sees an opportunity to make some money. He initially starts working for Ramon's family on one side, as he goes and kills some of the guys from the other gang. When he first gets into town for them scaring his mule, he works for the Ramon side, but he also ends up working for the other side, and he basically manipulates both gangs against each other in order to to work in his favour so he can earn more money. However, it doesn't necessarily go according to plan. He is found out, and then becomes a fight for survival for Joe. Right, what are my thoughts on A Fistful of Dollars? Well, I mean, this is one of the all-time greats. It really is. I mean, there's so much that you can say about this. This is Clint Eastwood's first starring role. He was doing Rawhide at the time, and his contract at Rawhide prevented him from doing other American movies in between filming the show, but it didn't preventing him from doing like European shoots, which is why he did this. And this is, you know, the film that really did start catapulting him into superstardom. It was refreshing, it was different, even though they call this the first spaghetti western. That's not accurate. There had been others, and if you don't know what that means, spaghetti western, it's essentially like Spanish funded westerns, hence the spaghetti thing. There had been a number of them before, but this is the first one to receive like international release, and it was a really big hit for the time as well. It really did very, very well. Massively popular, and obviously spawned 2 sequels with the same character. This, debatably for me, is my favourite of the trilogy. This is the one that is visited most by, and itself is a remake, which I'll talk about. But there are other films like Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis and others that have kind of recreated the format of this. It's forever like copied. But in case you didn't know, this in itself was a remake of a 1961 film called Yojimbo, a Japanese film. And they actually sued the makers of this film and ended up winning, and they ended up getting 15% of the box office takings of this film. Clearly they were a bit naughty. They didn't ask permission from all parties. So I mean, it's for me, it's a classic story. You know what I mean? The outlaw, the cowboy, the hero in the middle of these two gangs, kind of turning them against each other for his own benefit. He's neither a good guy or a bad guy, even though there are times in this film when he definitely does the right things. You know, he helps that woman reunite with her child and husband and gives them enough money to start a new life. He builds a good relationship with the guy from the saloon. So he does do the right things. He's really just in it for himself, because he literally rides into this town on a mule with nothing to his name, and ends up really, at the end of the film he rides out with nothing in his pockets, but during the film he does end up kind of filling his pockets with plenty of money. It just kind of backfires on him. I think Clint Eastwood here. I mean, you become accustomed over the years to the charisma and star power that Clint Eastwood commands when he's on screen. But to consider that this is his first real starring role, he effortlessly pulls this off with this really cool character, ultra cool character, this gunslinger that you just don't mess with. And some of the ways that this film has been shot by Sergio Leone were just not done at the time. American westerns didn't film westerns like this. The over-the-shoulder thing when he's doing the shootouts. They didn't do that. It was a much more traditional way of shooting like American westerns. And even when you watch it now, it just looks so great when the gunfights are kind of shot, when Clint Eastwood's drawing on people. It's so refreshing now because still they don't really shoot things that way. I think he was absolutely a revolutionary filmmaker, Sergio Leone, and you can see why Clint Eastwood learned so much from him. It's just very, very obvious that they had a strong collaboration on this film. Apparently, it wasn't an easy collaboration to start with. Clint Eastwood felt that his character was given too much dialogue, and he felt that he didn't need that much dialogue, and he kind of had that discussion, and they eventually came to an agreement, and that was the start of a beautiful filmmaking relationship between them both. And Clint Eastwood was right. He should be a man with no name and a man of few words, and he absolutely is. Interestingly as well, they obviously wanted to try and draw some star power to this before Clint Eastwood. They offered it to James Coburn and Charles Bronson, who both turned it down. Which, is fantastic as far as I'm concerned, because you can't imagine anybody else doing this and the other two films. And we need to talk as well about that outstanding score by Ennio Morricone. You forget. I mean, it is a number of years since I've seen this film and the other Dollar films. At times I've kind of focused a lot more on his Western, if you like, themed Westerns, if that makes sense. Like his Pale Riders, Outlaw Josie Wales, High Plains Drifter, that kind of stuff. But these have got such a distinct look and style and sound to them. They really are incredibly unique Westerns. That just absolutely work, and the score just is, well, it's not just the cherry on top of the cake, it's dozens of cherries on top of the cake. The film is timeless. It's really good. It's brutal at times. It doesn't hold back. The gunfights are really engaging. The face-off at the end between Joe and Ramon is fantastic with the old armor plating under his poncho. It just works so well for the film, and you can just see the tension rise with the score going, and Clint Eastwood being shot in the heart with the armor under his poncho, and it's just fantastic. This has probably always been my favourite, but I might change my mind because, like I say, it's a long time since I've seen all of these. But I know from years gone by, I've always had a deeper affection for this one. But let's wait and see. I might watch Good, Bad and the Ugly again, and it might just completely blow my mind because it's so long since I've seen that as well. So let me know your thoughts on this film. I am going to focus a little bit more on some Clint Eastwood classics. I'm going to do some reviews for me for a bit. Clint Eastwood's my favourite actor. There's still quite a few films in his filmography I need to review in regards to his earlier films, like some of his classics. So I'm going to do that. Give me some suggestions if there's anything you want me to review of Clint Eastwood's. I have also reviewed a decent amount on the channel, but I'm going to review quite a few more. So yeah, I hope you enjoy checking out this review and any more that I put on the channel, Clint Eastwood related. And I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.